Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming tonight to the Sunday feast. You can now all turn and face this seat where we'll have a talk now. Our talk tonight is by His Grace Nirantara Dasa Adhikari Prabhu. For those, I know some people are here for the first time, so I'll just say something brief about Nirantara Prabhu. He grew up in a Roman Catholic family. He went to a Catholic school for all of his education through high school. Then after that, in the late 60s, he became a hippie. And he lived as a hippie, as a rock star in the hippie movement for a few years, until 1972 when he came across books by Srila Prabhupada teaching about Krishna. And then in 1973 he took initiation from Srila Prabhupada. And since then he's been serving by trying to teach others about Krishna, and especially through music and other audio projects of his, because he has that experience from his rock and roll days. And so tonight he will give a talk. His topic, he said, is about there are 19 prominent arguments given by atheists, and so he'd like to give some responses or some rebuttals to some of those. He may not have time for all 19, but he'll approach some of those arguments. So thank you, Nirantara Prabhu, for coming. Hare Krishna.
And thank you for that wonderful introduction. So tonight's class is approved by the GBC, and so nothing to worry about there. Let's begin with a little bhajan. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshaman. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshaman. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Brinda. Jagannatha Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyan Anjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitang Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. I was blinded by the glare of the illusory energy. But my spiritual master mercifully accepted me as his disciple. And through his transcendental teachings, he has opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Trinadapi Sunichena Torar Iva Sahishnuna Amanina Mana De Kirtaniya Sadahari Hare Nama Hare Nama Hare Nama Eva Kivalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatir Anyata Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Welcome everybody. You know, I've been saying recently several times, there's this place called Disneyland, and they like to advertise the happiest place on earth. I disagree. I think coming to an ISKCON temple is the happiest place, especially ISKCON San Diego. So I found on the web, the World Wide Web, there was this article somebody posted. 19 tough questions atheists want to ask people who believe in God. So I said, oh, this could be very, very interesting. So one thing I learned in the past 50 years of chanting and preaching Krishna consciousness is that the more you become, shall we say, familiar and learned in the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, you begin to be able to appreciate how things can be seen in terms of the Vedic knowledge. You can begin to see, oh. So let's see. We're not going to cover all 19. So let's take, I put them in some kind of priority. So the first question, why does evil exist? Here's what the author put. Atheists often ask why a loving and all-powerful God would allow so much suffering and evil in the world. If God is good, why do bad things happen? So we've heard this argument many, many times over the years. So this is an easy one. So we first have to understand what is our position. What is our actual position? So from God's point of view, everything is absolute. In God's realm, in the kingdom of God, good and evil are absolute. Happiness and distress is absolute. There's no distinction. But once we come to this world, the material world, everything changes. Because this is a dualistic world. This is a conditional world. Krishna mentions this throughout the Gita. He says in chapter 15, Manakshastan indriyani prakriti stani karshati. Yes, your existential situation is that you are struggling. I don't think anybody here will deny that we're all struggling here. So the struggle is there because we have turned our back on God. We have forgotten. And instead, we are here in this wonderful San Diego, or on a broader sense, Southern California. And what is everybody trying to do? They're trying to enjoy. That's what they're trying to do. But evil in the material world is simply disobedience to the laws of God. So this whole material world, whole material cosmic manifestation, is like a machine. It's like a matrix, or we could even say a video game. It's a dream, actually. It's a dream. But we take it so seriously. So, because it's a dualistic world, not absolute, it's the material world, by definition, it's dualistic. We make a distinction between happiness, distress, good and bad. So evil, the original evil, if you want to say, like in the religion I was raised, I was raised on what is called the Baltimore Catechism. Yes, somebody's enlightened. By the way, recently I found one of the original copies, because everything's on the internet. I mean, everything's there. So I reread it and I was going, oh, really? Oh, that's another class, not tonight. So evil, the original evil, is that we have rejected what? What have we rejected? Our natural subordination to God. Yesterday, was it yesterday? Yes, yesterday. I was giving class in the ISKCON Los Angeles temple. And the section that I was assigned is where Lord Chaitanya is beginning to instruct Sanatana Goswami. And that famous verse, Krishnera, what is that? Jivera Swarupahoy Krishnera Nityadas. That is you could say, one of the building blocks of this whole philosophy that we follow. That my position is nothing more, nothing less than the eternal servant of God. But we know from Bhagavad Gita, we have one thing: free will. Free will means I can decide, do I want to serve God or do I want to do something else? And as soon as I decide to do something other than love and serve God, that's evil. Because I'm going against what my real position is. The problem in this material world is everybody's in competition. What? How to dominate, how to exploit, how to rule, how to enjoy separate from God. That's evil. So this whole process of living in this material world is a constant series of choices. At every moment, we're being asked to make a decision. Do I want to choose the right thing? Do I want to choose the wrong thing? And in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 16, Krishna, in the first 3 verses, delineates 26 qualities of a devotee. Somebody who's obedient to the will of God. Somebody who is a devotee. That's what it means to be a devotee. Devotee means I recognize myself as the eternal servant of God. voluntarily, because Krishna does not interfere with your free will. You get to choose. He told Arjuna at the end of the Gita, he said, I've told you everything, yate shasi tata kuru. As you like, you do. And Krishna was so nice that throughout 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains, if you act in this way, you'll get this result. If you act in another way, you'll get a different result. It's all there in Gita. But at the end, Krishna says, Arjuna, I've told you everything. You choose as you like. That's free will. You get to make the choice. So why is there suffering? There's suffering because I disobeyed the laws of God. Now, even you're not a believer and you think, all right, all there is this material energy, still there are laws of nature, right? But they never asked the question, who created those laws of nature? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, hello, I created the laws of material nature. Yes. So you can say laws of nature, which we translate the laws of God, because they weren't created independently. Nothing is independent of Krishna. So good and bad, right and wrong, is all set up by Krishna. So why do bad things happen? Because either in the past or at the present, I made bad choices. And once I make a bad choice, we have to suffer the consequences. That is what is called karma. Karma means, here's your choice. Door number 1, door number 2, and there's a door number 4. By the way, when you enter this temple, that's door number 4. Because door number 1, the mode of ignorance, very popular right now. The mode of ignorance, it's everywhere. Door number 2, passion. I want to enjoy, let's party. Mode of goodness, shanti. Meditation, studying, calming the senses, becoming peaceful, yoga, Om. Whole idea is to control the passions. But door number 4, Haribol. Door number 4 is, I want to engage in my constitutional position. My constitutional position. I've said this hundreds of times when I sometimes would be asked to speak in Catholic high schools. So I would always say, Krishna consciousness is right there in your Bible. When Jesus was asked, what is the greatest commandment? Immediately Jesus said, love God. So I would say, that's what Hare Krishna is all about. Loving God. That's why I joined this movement. Because I love this concept of love of God. Prabhupada, one of the first things I read, one of the first things I heard, which really hit me, Prabhupada was saying that we all have this propensity to love. It's natural. But the problem was we're reposing our love in the wrong place. That's the problem. And that's why we're not happy. We need reciprocation. Love cannot be one way. There has to be reciprocation. So you may have a nice husband, I have the best wife. Krishna has given me the best wife. But even she will tell me, yeah, I love you, but I love Krishna more. And I'm happy with that. Because it's because she loves Krishna that she loves me. Because she said many times, if you weren't a devotee, I would want nothing to do with you. But I'm okay with that. I love that. Because she also appreciates that the real thing is love of God. So Prabhupada is saying repeatedly, you repose your love with Krishna, now you will be satisfied. Because my wife, me, we can only do so much. But we need unlimited. So that can only be done by Krishna. That's why we prosecute Krishna consciousness. And Krishna says, as you surrender to me, I will reciprocate. I love this concept. It's very nice. Let's go to question. You like it so far? All right. You get a ding. All right. Are you here from a college class?
I do attend university, but right now I'm in summer.
Okay. Because I see you're like taking notes on me. That's fine. No, do it. I just want to know if I should, tailor it to your...
Thank you. I'm enjoying it.
Okay. Then let's, like we say in New York, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's go to number 2. How do you explain natural disasters? Atheists wonder how these tragic events fit into the idea of a compassionate God. So as we go through, you'll see the atheists have concocted their own conception of God that doesn't exist, which is why they're atheists. But they've concocted this, well, if God is, as far as I'm concerned, once I read about Krishna, I said, man, if I wanted to be God, I want to be like Krishna. Because ain't nobody come close to what Krishna has done. You can't it's like, yeah, he's God. Just read his story. Krishna's story is so amazing. So how do you explain natural disasters? That ties in. If the laws of nature are all set up by God, once man, either individually or collectively, disobeys the laws of God, then everything is interconnected. Everything is interconnected. And little by little, more and more people, nations, families, communities violate or disobey the laws of God. The reaction is disasters, natural disasters, because it's like a machine. Let's go to number 3. Actually, number 5, but I didn't like 3 or 4. They're lower on the list. So I picked number 5 as the next, because I get this a lot. Prabhu, why are there so many religions? Yes, even in Hinduism, there are so many different Hindu sects. And we see even there's a Muslim religion, Christian, even the Muslim religion, there's different sects. The Christians, they have hundreds of different, this group doesn't like this group, right? Then you have and even in the Jews, you have your Orthodox, Reformed, and I think there's a third one. They have different groups. So yes, it's true. So their thinking is, the atheist thinks, oh, variety means then it must be false. So actually, they're right. There is only one real religion. What is that religion? Surrender to God and love. That's it. That's religion. Or as Yamaraj told his servants, the Yamadutas, when they unsuccessfully tried to capture a Jamil and take him to hell, and they were thwarted. So they went back to Yamaraj saying, wait a second, we thought you were the supreme. And never before had the Yamadutas ever been checked. This was the first time. So they went, and Yamaraj said, yes, above me, you think that I'm supreme? Above me, everybody say, Narayan. Narayan. Yes, he was pointing out. And the real important line, Dharman tu sakshad bhagavat pranitam. This is the definition of real religion. Got nothing to do with Hinduism, Christianity, Muslimism, Buddhism, this ism, whatever ism. No, there's only one religion. What does God say? And how do I cope with that? That is real religion. Or in the words of Lord Chaitanya, he takes religion to the nth degree. He says, the ultimate form of religion, again, my favorite topic, love of God. Love of God. But before you can claim love of God, first question is, are you obedient to God? So that's why Yamaraj says, Dharman tu sakshat bhagavat. The word of God, that is religion. And by the way, our basic book, which is sometimes referred to as the Bible of India, which is, everybody? Yes, everybody should know that. One time, a couple of months ago, I said that in another temple, and somebody objected. No! I said, no, it's not the Bible of India. It's the Bible of the universe. I said, okay, I'm defeated. So, one religion. Now, why are there so many religions? Because hardly anybody can do that. And that's why, very beginning of Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, second shloka, Dharma Kaitava, yes, Projita. Bhagavatam says, second verse, this Bhagavatam is rejecting, kicking out all kinds of pseudo materialistic, and the word used by Vyasadeva, Kaitava, cheating. That's a strong word. Bhagavatam kicks it out. Bhagavatam begins. You're reading this book, you should know from the beginning what is the premise. The premise is surrender and love of God and service to God. So, as soon as there's something other than that, or in other words, as soon as there is some personal motivation, now you're going to get this sect, that sect, because the original premise has become contaminated. Because pure love of God, Prabhupada explains, it's just like, here we have a mother, I think, and her child, right? So the mother or grandmother loves the child without any expectation of return. It's just out of love. You mothers, you know that. You would do anything for your child. No reservations, am I right? That's the way God planned it. Thank God for mothers. That's why Mother's Day is an important day. Very important. So, as soon as there's any deviation from complete surrender and love of God, now there is some personal motivation. All right, I'll worship God, but I want this. So it becomes business. I remember before coming to Krishna consciousness, Before I knew anything, when I was 10, 11, 12. So all I knew was, the way I was taught, Jesus is the only way. That's what I was taught. So whenever I wanted something, I would pray to Jesus. Sometimes I'd get it. Sometimes I didn't get it. I remember clearly one day as a young boy, I was playing baseball. And I prayed all day in school, Jesus, I want to hit a home run. Because I never hit a home run. Jesus, so the whole day I was like, I didn't know, but I was doing like a mantra. Jesus, I want to. So when it came, the first at bat, and the pitcher, the guy he was like mean, and he would throw very fast. So everybody was afraid of him. So all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, the ball took off. And even the umpire went, what? And I said, Jesus did it. So I'm a firm believer in prayer. There's one rock and roll demon, and he sang a song. You cannot petition the Lord with prayer. And I used to say, you don't know what you're talking about. I know. I have tangible proof. And once I came to Krishna consciousness, and you learn about Krishna in the heart, super soul, it all clicks in. It all ties in. So, different religions means different tinges of material desires, either for profit, fame, adoration, distinction, material upliftment, mental speculation, mystic powers, or the ultimate cheating to merge. That's considered the ultimate cheating religion. I will become one with God. So, there's only one religion, love of God. The next one I love. These atheist questions are great. Number 6, how do you know your religion is correct? Yes, we get that all the time. And I've said many, many, hundreds of times, when you go for buying a car, right? Like right now they have these car malls, so you can, in one area, you can go to Toyota, Honda, Lexus, but you can go to all of them. Now, tell me, if I go to Honda, what's the guy going to say? This is the best car for you. And if I go to Toyota, no, you don't want a Honda. You want this car. So no matter what car dealership you go to, what are they going to tell you? This car is the only car. Same way with religion. They have to say that. Sometimes the Christians, they're very strong in this. Jesus is the only way. And so if I'm addressed like that, I said, well, that's okay. But, excuse me, the Buddhists say the same thing. And so do the Muslims. Muslims say that. Allah! Every religion, like a car salesman, is going to say, they have to say that. Because if they admit, actually, there's a better car, they're not going to get the sale. So the same way religion, they have to preach. So how do we answer that? Actually, how does Krishna answer that? Dravida, what line am I going to quote? What's that? No, not that one. But that's what you would say. But I was just thinking if you could read my mind. No. Pratyak Shavagamam Dharmyang. Now do you see my logic? That line is from very powerful verse in chapter 9, where Krishna says, this knowledge, Raja Guyam, most confidential. Raja Guyam, Raja Vidya, topmost, the king of knowledge. pratyakshabagamam. You will personally, directly experience the results. Like in most religions, they tell you, be a good boy, and then when you die, you'll go to heaven. Now, Prabhupada taught us, don't accept a post-dated check. So, I've always been, show me the Carfax. Show me what is the immediate benefit. So Krishna is saying in this line, pratyakshabagamam, you will directly perceive for yourself. Otherwise, nobody is going to chant several hours every day the same thing and not get some result. I don't know about any, for sure, not me. If I didn't get results from chanting, I would have not lasted 2 days. But you've heard me tell most of you heard me tell the story. What sunk me was prasad. The first time, give me more, give me more. Gotta come back tomorrow. So, even in George Harrison, with the help of Shyamasundara, wrote an introduction to the Krishna book, and where it says, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. So, once you taste this Krishna consciousness, once you taste this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or Prasadam, or once you see, don't you just love coming to see the deities, right? How beautiful they look. They look so beautiful, right? So that means there's some attraction. There's some attraction there. So you can directly perceive the results for yourself. Directly perceive. You don't, for instance, another example I give. Later, we'll all take prasad, right? That's why most of us came, with prasad. So, the servers are going to come around, right? And they'll say, do you want more? And they go, no, right? And I know, because I've eaten in Indian homes all over the world. Okay? Why do you think I got so fat? So, anyone who's experienced knows what the culture is. They give you a plate, and as soon as you finish, they want to give you more. And you finish that, they want to give you more. So at some point, you got to go, no, Nai Baba, no. In fact, you got to cover your plate, because just you saying no, that's all right, Prabhu, one for me. So, because they don't know that I'm full, right? Their job, feed Prabhu, feed the sadhu, because they know, the more we feed Prabhuji, the better we're going to be off. So let's feed Prabhuji. Yes. But I know when I've had enough, right? So the same way, you know in yourself the validity of this Krishna consciousness. It's not something you can scientifically explain. It's just another way. When a boy and girl become attracted, there's no explanation. It's just the chemistry, they say. The chemistry. Right? There's no scientific, it's just feelings. So the same way, you feel it. That's why Krishna says, after that line, pratyakshabagamam dharmam, susukam kartum avyayam. Therefore, not only that, it's easy. Susukam. Sukam, Sanskrit word, means happiness, right? Susukam means very happy. Who wants to be very happy? Who just wants to be happy? No. I don't know. I want to be very, very happy. So Krishna says, this prosecution of Krishna consciousness is easy, joyful, and it's everlasting. Avyayam. Now, many of you have your investments, your stocks, portfolio, and if you're smart, you're always checking how is the stock doing, right? Don't you do that? You check to see, am I right? Yes, that's natural. So because you have an investment, okay? So the problem is sometimes you can lose it, right? We had 2008, right? The big stock market crash. Some are predicting this year too. Hare Krishna. Some pundits are saying, get ready. But in Krishna consciousness, you never lose your investment. It never deteriorates, never decreases. It's always there. I like that investment. Invest in Krishna. Your stock will never go down. In fact, it will increase day by day by day. So put your stock in Krishna. All right, next question. What happens to those who don't believe? Yes, there's another big thing, atheists. They say, oh, and I've heard this also from some Hindus, which I found very surprising, that if God is all good and we're all his children, then why should we be punished? God is supposed to be all good. So that means we don't understand, again, our existential situation. So what happens to those who don't believe? Even the Bible says, as you sow, so shall you reap. Again, karma. If you stay on the material plane, then depending on the choices you make, you get a reaction, good or bad. And that's why studying Bhagavad Gita is so important, because Krishna tells you, if you go down the mode of ignorance, this is what you can expect. If you go down the path of the mode of passion, then you can expect these things. And if you go down the path of the mode of goodness, you can, it's all there in Gita, chapter 14, chapter 17, chapter 18. Krishna gives everything. And as I said before, if you go through door number 4, which is Krishna consciousness, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, an ocean of bliss. An ocean of bliss. So what happens to those who don't believe? They reap what they sow. You make choices, and the results are there. They're there. But Krishna said repeatedly in Gita, Bhagavatam says repeatedly, Prabhupada is repeatedly saying, if you give this life to Krishna, then at the end of this life, you're going back home, back to the kingdom of God. Who wants to go? Who wants to come back and take birth again? Good. I've been in some classes where, yeah, I want to come back. And I go, oh, but then they try to say, yeah, I want to come back and help the conditioned souls. Okay. Yeah, okay, fine. I don't know about you. I want to go back. Hare Krishna. But I'm glad. See, this is the advanced class. You all said you wanted to go back. Good. I'll hope to see you there. And if I don't, put in a good word for me, okay? So those who don't believe, they're going to simply be caught up in the matrix of the material world. It's all there. Next question. Why is there a lack of consensus among believers? Well, that's not too difficult because some people are strict, some are moderately strict, some are little strict, right? So depending on how much investment you put in and surrender, right, you're going to get different. That's why Krishna said, as you surrender, I reciprocate. So it's only natural. In the beginning, we take baby steps, right? We take baby steps, which is okay. But as you see the results, then you go, what about if I did this much more? And then you see, whoa, that was good. So you get impetus to want to improve. So lack of consensus means, another way to answer this question, some people follow their religion, but they don't know what they're following. We see this a lot. Sometimes in any religion, it doesn't matter. They're following it, but they don't know why. They're doing it because the parents make them do it, or this is the way we've done it in this family for generations. But do they know what they're doing? A lot of times they don't. But when you come to this movement, that is what Prabhupada teaches you. Why? That's why there are classes. The classes are there to show us why we do what we do. It's not that we're blind following. We follow what the scriptures are saying, and I've used this many times. It is a science. It is a science. Science means you follow a procedure, you get a predictable result. Bhagavad Gita is the same way. You follow what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, this is what to expect. One time, long, maybe 1973, 74, when I was first starting out to go and distribute books, because when I joined, that's what you did. If you joined, it was, okay, you have to go out and distribute books and collect donations. So there's this place in New York City called Port Authority. It's the, yes, we got a New Yorker in the house. Okay. So it's a big bus hub. Big. So people are flying by. So I was trying to distribute a Bhagavad Gita. One guy stopped. And he said, I don't want your book. I want to be a demon. I said, great. Take this book, chapter 16. It'll tell you how to be the best demon. He took the book. A devotee can, yes, we are the best salesmen. This is another side story. So there was a time in the late 80s, mid 90s, I had to leave the temple to support my family, so I had to get a real job, and I hated it. So I was working for this video company, and I was doing some bookkeeping. So there was one, and he was a big rascal atheist, this guy. I'm not going to say his name. And he found out I was a devotee, and he made my life miserable. Ugh. So at some point, the company was not doing good because they were making videos, and they weren't selling. So he made a joke, hey, maybe we can get some of you guys to sell our videos, meaning Hare Krishnas, because he figured out we were great, salesmen. I said, they ain't going to distribute your videos. Okay, next. This one I know personally. Why are there unanswered prayers? As I said, before coming to Krishna, I would pray to Jesus. Now, one thing Jesus never gave me was a real, true soulmate. I tried with Dina, I tried with Linda, I tried with Michelle, But in due course of time, my achy, breaky heart. And so I joined the temple, and I was thinking, all right, I couldn't make it as a rock star. I couldn't make it as a lover. So I'm going to take sannyas. So I was thinking I'll be a sannyasi. It didn't last long. So as far as, oh, she's happy about that. So is my wife. So I would always ask myself, why I never got what I wanted. But then when Krishna did give me my wife, and that was sent by Krishna, that's a whole nother story. Then I realized, aha, now I see. If I had gotten Dina or Michelle or Linda, or if I had become the next Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix, John Lennon, I would not have come to Krishna. But because the prayers were always unanswered, then I was at that point where I got nothing going. So I decided, I remembered that day. It was in February 1973. I was at the crossroads, and I decided, all right, I'm going to give this life to Prabhupada and Krishna. And that was the best decision I ever made, and I will make it 1,000,000,000 times over. All in favor say Hari Bol. Hari Bol. So yes, Krishna frustrated me because, and this is brought up in the Bhagavatam too. So people who worship in the Bhagavad Gita other devatas, other gods, Krishna uses the word quickly they get their results. But the results are limited and temporary. That is the defect of worshiping other gods or worshiping God for some material benefit, because it's limited and temporary. It doesn't last. But when you come to Krishna, when you surrender, now you have an opportunity to have your desires fulfilled completely. Completely. So, like the brahmachari was saying, that I used to be a hippie, I was a musician, right? But I'm still doing exactly what I wanted to do. And I'm much more happier. I play guitar for Krishna. I get to enter, what do you think this is? This is entertainment. I'm doing the same shtick that I would do in the clubs. Knowing how to work the audience, tell a few jokes, quote a few shlokas. It's an art. You think it's easy sitting up here? You've got to be sharp. Got to be on your toes. That tells me another story. When I was working at that video company, I had a atheist Jewish boss. So when he found out I was a devotee, he was trying to say, you know, what do you guys do all day? You just mumble some prayers all day long, and you're not thinking, you're just... And I said, you don't know what you're talking... Actually, I use stronger language, but not in temple room. Because he got me so angry. I said, you don't know what you're talking about. I said, and he's my boss, you wouldn't last one day in the temple. You think all we do is just space out and chant? No. We get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. First service is at 4:30. We're chanting. We're dancing. We're praying. We're studying. And what does Krishna say in Gita? Always think of me. So it's not that we're just nonsense. One time, I had to go to his house on a Saturday for some reason, business related. So he lived in Brentwood. That's a very posh, exclusive area of Los Angeles, Brentwood. So he came out. He had this big lawn. And I used to drive a motor scooter. Couldn't afford a car, so I had a motor scooter. And he came out with these two big dogs, huge. It was like, yeeks. So then, sometime later, he was making fun. You know, you Hindus, you don't eat cows. And I said, oh, you want to know why we say holy cow? So then I said, remember your two dogs, right? How do you feel if I came and killed your dogs and ate them? He said, I would kill you. I said, now you understand. You love your dogs, we love cows. He never argued again with me after that. I had his number. Yes, that's the problem with America. And even Prabhupada once said, they don't love God, they love dog. And where I live, I call it dog loca. I live in an area with like 600 units, okay? And every morning, their sadhana starts, 5 o'clock. They're walking the dog, picking up the poop. They don't want to serve God, so you get to serve the dog. Yes. And some of them have 2, 3 dogs. And of course, if you want to have any kind of peaceful interaction, you first have to say, oh, hello, doggy. Then they smile. Then it's like, oh, people identify with their dogs. So I know, my daughter's got 2. I can't say anything. It's like, don't even think anything negative. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. So the answer is, because I got off on tangents, I'm sorry about that. But it makes it fun, right? Yeah. So Bhagavatam explains that the reason, like some people say, I prayed to Krishna for this and he didn't answer. So the answer is, Krishna, if he loves you, he won't give you something that's actually bad for you. Like parents, you go through this all the time. The child says, I want this, but because you're the parent, you know, no, that's not good for you. And the child, but the parent knows I can't give the child what it wants because it's bad. So Krishna cares about us. So if we approach Krishna and he doesn't give us what he wants, the devotee thinks, oh, that meant it wasn't really good for me. And then when something actually does come from Krishna, it'll be solid, it'll be blissful, and it'll help you to go back home, back to Godhead. Okay, next question. Oh, it's that late already? Oh my God, I was just getting started. Yes. One more. How do you handle doubt? That's easy, because Arjuna expresses that in the Gita. So we handle doubt by referring to Bhagavad Gita. All the answers are there. Everything is there in Gita, in Bhagavatam. Or, if you need further clarification, go to Dravida or Bhajanarayan Swami. You go to a senior devotee who's more experienced, more mature, like that. Or you take the advice of previous saints and sages. Help is there. Doubts, actually Bhagavatam says, doubt is a sign of intelligence. There are 5 symptoms of intelligence, one of which is doubt. So that's normal, that's natural. That means you got a brain. You're not just, no, you're thinking, right? But the doubts should be cleared up by going to authority. That's where you clear up the doubts, by going to authority. Guru, sadhu, and the basis, Shastra. All right. Thank you very much. May Krishna bless you, protect you all. You liked it. Thank you. Yep.